These are the finest and most extensive selection of cast iron camp Dutch ovens on the market. Hi, I'm Bob Kellerman, president of Lodge Manufacturing, located in the friendlyville town of South Pittsburgh, Tennessee. Our company, which is now a fourth-generation family business, was founded by my great-grandfather Joseph Lodge back in 1896. And we produce a wide range of cast iron cookware, including these Dutch ovens. These Dutch ovens are made basically the same way they were made 100 years ago, one at a time in sand molds, where we pour the molten iron in at about 2,800 degrees. When the iron solidifies, we break open the mold, clean the casting, grind the rough edges, and ready for shipment. With the growing interest in Dutch oven cooking and the formation of the International Dutch Oven Society, we thought it would be a great time to put together an instructional video for the beginning Dutch oven cook. And we're fortunate enough to have Dian Thomas, who is a nationally known television celebrity and lifelong Dutch oven practitioner, to put together this video for us. Dian's going to show you how fun and easy it is to cook in these Dutch ovens. You just can't believe what you can cook in these pots. Take a look at this.
These rolls may look good, but boy, do they taste great. Wow. You know, my father was a forest ranger, and I would go out with him as a young kid. He would build a big campfire, and then we'd pull the coals back over and cook sourdough biscuits in the Dutch oven. We'd put a little bit of butter on the hot roll, and then take some honey and spread on top of that. Oh, it was good. From that day on, I've been hooked on outdoor camping and Dutch oven cooking. To get started, you're going to want to know which Dutch oven is right for you. The smallest Dutch oven in the line is the 8-inch Dutch oven. It's wonderful for sauces and also to get kids started cooking pineapple upside down cakes. The 10-inch Dutch oven is really good for groups of 3 or 4 people. The most popular Dutch oven in the line is the 12-inch Dutch oven. It is the official Dutch oven for the Boy Scouts of America. It is fabulous for frying one chicken. For almost any dish, you'll want to go to this Dutch oven. The number 12 deep Dutch oven is great for groups or for stews. For big groups, you'll want to go to the 14 or 16-inch Dutch ovens. Boy, can you serve a crowd out of these. Now that you know which Dutch oven you're going to use, here's some accessories that will really make it helpful. One of my favorite is the lid lifter. You can put that right underneath the Dutch oven lid, lift that off, and you don't get burned by the coals. If you don't have one, you can also use the claw of the hammer, like this, or a pair of pliers can hook right underneath the lid and lift that off. Now, before you lift it off, one of the things you may want to do is use the brush to get all of the ashes off. So a little brush like this will be really helpful. I also like to use leather gloves because it is so easy when those hot coals are on top of the Dutch oven to burn the ends of your fingers. Now, when you take the lid off, you'll want to have a lid holder, so when you take this over, you can place it right on top of there, and the bottom of the lid doesn't get dirt on it. So when you put it back on to cook with, it is all clean. I also find that a breadboard works really good when I go out camping because I can't find anything to cut on that's really clean. If you're going to be cooking in a pie tin, you'll want to put it on top of a rack. So I found that a little cookie cooling rack works really good. It goes right in the Dutch oven. Or if you don't have one like this, I use the jar rings and place the jar rings or even a flat rock. 3 rocks are exactly the same height will work really good. You put the pie tin on there, put the lid on that, and you've got a really nice oven to cook with. Now to start the charcoal briquettes, you're going to want to use a chimney starter. This is a really nice one and it's easy to use. You put the charcoal briquettes in here, and then underneath you put a couple of newspapers. Light the newspapers. In about 15 minutes, the charcoals will be all ready to put onto the Dutch oven. Here's one you can make out of a 5-gallon can. Right here you see I have a screen about 2/3 of the way down, riveted into the sides so it'll hold it up. And then here in the front you see this really nice open. You just put newspapers in there, put the charcoal briquettes on the top, and again in 15 to 20 minutes your charcoals are all ready to go. Probably the handiest thing to use are the tongs. You take those hot charcoal briquettes off, put them onto the Dutch oven, move them around and organize them with these tongs. And then if you're going camping to keep yourself organized, here's a really nice little kit that can be made. You take a piece of material, fold it up, put all of these utensils in it and measure it off and then sew that off. Along here, we place a braid to hold them in there. And then on the top, you can see, here we have the can opener and the measuring spoons and the peelers. Pull this over the top of that, roll that up, and everything will stay really organized when you're on your next camping trip. The first thing when you get your Dutch oven that you're going to want to do is unpack it. Then the next step is to season it. There's a fine film that's placed on it at the manufacturers. So you'll want to put it into water so that it will dissolve that film off. Take the water, kind of wash it around to get all of that waxy film off. Then wipe it out with a dry towel. And then you're ready to oil it. Just wipe this off. Do the same thing with the lid. Just dip it in the water. Just rub it around. Take that off. Wipe that off. And then we're ready to put the oil on it. This is where the magic begins because you want to season the cast iron. Cast iron has pores in it, and so as you heat it up, the oil will go into the pores and season it so it doesn't rust. So I'm going to put a little bit of oil into the bottom of the Dutch oven and a little bit on the lid. You're going to want to rub this on every piece of the cast iron. So we'll take a paper towel, rub this around, get it on all the sides, and also on the top edge, making sure to make a fine coat of oil everywhere. Don't puddle it in the bottom. You won't want any excess in there. Then pour the oil onto the bottom, and again, rub that in on the legs, over the bottom, and then on all of the sides. Okay, the next thing you want to do is to oil the lid, making sure to get all of the surface completely coated. One nice swipe around the outside edges and then into the center. The next thing you're going to want to do is to place it into the oven. So take the lid and the pot, go to the oven, and you want to place it into an oven that is still cool. So open up the oven, place the pot upside down on the bottom rack. So if there's any puddles of oil, they'll run off the Dutch oven and into the oven. Then put the lid in with the bottom on the rack so the oil again can run off the cast iron. The next thing to do is to turn your oven on to 350 degrees. You'll leave it in there for 2 hours. What you do want to do is let the cast iron heat up as the oven heats up, and then turn the oven off after 2 hours and let it cool down. You never want to take a pot and go from cold to hot really fast or hot to cold, because sometimes they'll crack. When the Dutch oven is all seasoned, you're ready for your first Dutch oven adventure. The key to successful Dutch oven cooking is temperature control, learning how many briquettes to put on the Dutch oven in order to turn out the dish like you want it. The key is to know which size of Dutch oven you have. This is a number 12. What I'm going to do for the top is add 3 briquettes to the 12, which is 15, and on the bottom, take 3 away. The reason is on the bottom it'll be a lot hotter, and on the top it has to heat down. So let me show you the bottom first. I have taken 9 briquettes, placed all the way around the edge, and leave the middle of it open because it does get very hot on the bottom. Once those are placed around in a ring, you place a Dutch oven on top of that. Then I've added 3 to the 12, which makes 15. With that, I'm going to place them in a checkerboard square all the way around the top of the lid. This way you'll get good heating from the top and it won't be too hot on the bottom. Now that you have all of the briquettes on the Dutch oven, you'll have this Dutch oven cooking at about 325 degrees. This is the perfect temperature for most recipes that you'll be cooking in the Dutch oven. If you're going to be cooking in 2 pots, you can cook one on top of the other. We'll take the Dutch oven, place it on top, and you're probably worried about too many coals underneath here. No, there's a breeze underneath there and a little more space, so it doesn't heat quite as hot here as it does here. This is a 10-inch Dutch oven up here, and add 3 more, so I have 13. We'll put those on the top. That will make it 325 degrees. Now you're all set with a magic formula to cook a perfect dish in any Dutch oven. A great place to start Dutch oven cooking is right in your backyard. One of my favorites is the barbecue. Place a couple of bricks here on the bottom, put your coals underneath there, put the coals on the top, and you're all ready to cook. Another one that works really good is a wheelbarrow. Fill it with sand, put a couple of patio bricks on it, put your briquettes underneath it, briquettes on the top, and you're all ready to cook. And then let me show you two more out on the gravel. This works really good. Take an oil drum lid, put it on the gravel or on the cement, and you're all ready to cook on the Dutch oven. These are 3 patio bricks. You put those down, put your coals underneath, coals on the top, and you're all set for a great backyard cookout. You can also use your outdoor Dutch oven indoors. One of my favorite recipes is a pineapple upside down cake. You put all of your ingredients into the Dutch oven, then put it into the conventional oven, bake it for 35 minutes, and you have a delicious pineapple upside down cake. The first step is to line the Dutch oven with aluminum foil. Then place a little bit of butter in the bottom of it or oil. Then put all of the pineapples around in a circle on the bottom. Once you have those all lined up and one in the center, I then take maraschino cherries and put one in the center of each one of the pineapples. The last thing before you put the cake mix on is to cover it with brown sugar. Now if you want to cut down the calories, you cut down the brown sugar. So we'll just sprinkle a little bit around, and then we're ready to put the cake batter on. You just take the cake batter, put it over the pineapples, spread it all over the bottom, then take the Dutch oven, put it on a pizza pan or a cookie sheet. Put it in a preheated 350-degree oven. Wait about 35 minutes, and you'll have a delicious pineapple upside down cake. Wow, it looks just right. Let me show you. Isn't that nice? Now, all you have to do, because we lined it with foil, is take it out of the pan, place the foil down like this, put another piece of foil on top of that, turn that over, and voila! We have a beautiful pineapple upside down cake. One of my favorite things to do is turn down the foil, place it back into the Dutch oven, then take it and surprise my friends with a birthday cake. They love it. The real fun of Dutch oven cooking is cooking in the great outdoors. And one of the easiest recipes to make is sloppy joes. In the Dutch oven, I've already browned 2 small onions and 2 pounds of hamburgers. Once the hamburger is already browned, we're all ready to add 2 cans of tomato paste. So we'll put the tomato paste in. Then I'm going to use 2 cans of sloppy joe seasoning. The 2 packages of sloppy joe mix go in next, and 2 cups of water. Oh, you can hear that sizzle, and that is part of the fun. We'll stir this all together. Once this is all mixed in, the last piece is to put the biscuits on the top. Looks just great. I'll take the biscuits out of a can, or you can even make those from a mix if you want. And then just set them on top of the sloppy joe mix. It'll take about 12 to 15 minutes for these to cook. They will brown on the top. The heat also from the sloppy joes will cook them on the bottom. Okay, I'm going to put the lid back onto the sloppy joes and the biscuits. Using the checkerboard square on the top of it, we have the charcoal briquettes, and in 12 to 15 minutes, they will be perfect. It's been about 15 minutes. I think it's time we should take a look. Oh, it's perfect. They're absolutely golden brown. Let me show you what it looks like underneath. Wow. This is so easy. You're going to want to do this on your next camping trip. One of the most important things about cooking in a Dutch oven is learning how to clean it properly. the first thing to do is to take a spatula and get all of the loose food off. I scrape it to one side of the Dutch oven and then take it out. Now, if I'm on a campfire, I'll fill that full of water, put it back into the coals, and let it boil and just soften off the food. Then I'll pour that out, wipe it out, get it really dry, and then put a fine coat of oil on it. When I'm home, I'll take the Dutch oven, put it in a very mild soap, and use a non-abrasive pad to clean it out. This way, I get all of the loose food out. As soon as I get it all cleaned out, the next thing I'm going to do is to rinse it out. So we'll get all of the soap and water out, put it into the rinse, get it all cleaned out. Make sure you get it completely rinsed off. Then take it out and then wipe it. It is really important to get as much moisture out of there as you can. You don't want that Dutch oven to rust at all. Okay, wipe this off. Now the last step is to add a little bit of oil to it to recondition the Dutch oven. So I'll pour just a little oil at the bottom, take a paper towel, and wipe that up, making sure to not let any excess oil be in the pan. Do it around the outside. Okay, it's all ready to store now. We'll take some paper towels, put it into the oven so if there's any moisture left over in there, it'll absorb it. I always make a foil collar to go on the edge of it before I put the lid on it, so it'll keep the edge a little ajar, so if there's any moisture in it, it can evaporate out. Place the lid on it, and it's all ready to store until your next Dutch oven cookout. Now that we have the basics down, let's try cooking a meal. I think it would be great to cook Pistol Rock chicken in this Dutch oven. Cowboy potatoes would be perfect here. And then over in this one, cherry cobbler would be a great finish to a wonderful meal. So let's go over and try doing the chicken first. What I found out is it's really hard to do chicken outside and get it floured. So I've taken the large plastic bag that has a self-sealing top. The first thing I did was skin all of the chicken so it'll be a little bit healthier. Place each one of the pieces in the bag so that I can get into it and season them. So we're going to put a little bit of salt on them, a little pepper, and then the last one is some garlic salt. Then I turn each one of the pieces of chicken over and season the other side of the chicken. I also like putting tenderizer on it. So again, we'll do a little bit of pepper, the salt, and just a little bit of garlic salt. And now we're ready to flour them. The easiest way to do this is to take a cup of flour, place it into the bag, seal that across the top, leave a little bit of air in there, and you can flour all the chicken at the same time. I've been heating the Dutch oven. We'll take the lid off. I've got a little bit of oil in it. A good way to check to see if the oil is hot is just put a little bit of flour. If it kind of bubbles underneath the flour, the oil is all ready to go. So I'm going to take the floured chicken and put it into the pan. You want to let this fry until it's absolutely golden brown. Earlier we talked about the briquettes on the bottom of the Dutch oven. You'll remember we told you to take 3 away from the 12 in order to get the amount on the bottom, but we're going to be frying this time, so I'm going to use the 12 briquettes on the bottom instead of the 9. So you can see they're all the way around is a checkerboard square. This will give me even browning for the chicken, so we'll put this back on and let them fry. Over here I'm going to make cowboy potatoes. So I'm going to use a 12-inch Dutch oven, and again I'm going to be frying, so I'm going to use 12 briquettes on the bottom. Let me show you. Again, we use the checkerboard square. I've let it heat just a little bit so this bacon will be ready to cook when I put it in. The basic recipe here is 3 ingredients. 2 slices of bacon for each person, a half a small onion, and 1 potato. So I'm going to make it for about 6 people. We'll take the bacon that's already been cut, place it in, and I need to fry this on the bottom of the Dutch oven first. Once that's fried, I'll take it out of there. I have my onions all ready to go and my potatoes already sliced. I'm going to let the bacon fry for just a few minutes. Let's go over and make the cobbler. Now, cobblers are so easy to do. This one is one of my favorites. I call it kind of a dump cake because all you do is dump everything in. Whenever I use anything with sugar, I always line the Dutch oven with aluminum foil This will keep it from sticking to the bottom and make it a lot easier to clean. So the oven is all lined with foil. I'm going to take 2 cans of cherry pie filling. You could do this with any kind of cherry pie filling. So we'll put 1 can, and now I'll put the 2nd can of pie cherries in. We'll smooth those out so we have about 3/4 of an inch of filling on the bottom. Because this is so thick, I don't have any moisture to mix into the cake batter. So what I'm going to do is dump the cake batter over the top, and then for the liquid on it, I'm going to add a can of soda pop. You really can use any kind of soda pop that you want. So let's completely cover the cherries with the cake mix. Open the can of soda pop, pour that in. That's a little over a cup, so it'll give us the moisture we need to make the cake. Once I have that on the top, I'm just going to stir it in just a little bit. So you'll have the cherries on the bottom and the cake on the top. It is wonderful. So for this one, to bake it, all I need to do is put the lid back onto the top. This is all ready to bake. Now for this one, I'm going to stick to the original formula. It's a 12-inch Dutch oven, so we'll take 3 away. That'll be 9 briquettes on the bottom all the way around the edge. Now on the top, I'll add 3 briquettes, which will be 15. So we'll put 15 around the edge and a couple in the middle. In just about 35 minutes, the cherry cobbler will be all ready. I want to go back and check the bacon. It's coming along really good. I'll just stir it a little bit. Ooh, the chicken looks like it's all ready to be turned. Perfect. You want it just nice and golden brown, and it is just right. I'm going to turn it over and let it brown on the other side. Now, while that's browning, let's go back over and finish the potatoes. Now, I'm going to bring the bacon over to the side and take it off. So we don't want to cook it anymore. Just put it in a pan and we'll add that in to the potatoes once they're cooked. The next thing to go into our cowboy potatoes are the onions. I don't have too much grease left. You can take it out or leave it in, depending on which you want flavor. Put the onions into that. Stir those around and brown the onions for just a minute. Looks like the onions are all ready. So all I need to do is add the potatoes and let it cook. So I've already sliced 6 potatoes. We'll put those right on top of the onions. Stir those in. The moisture from the potatoes will come out, and also from the onions. All we have to do now is put the lid on, put the 15 charcoal briquettes on the top, let it cook 35 to 45 minutes, and we'll be ready to add the peas, the bacon, and the cheese to finish it off. Boy, the chicken is brown on the other side. We're ready to finish this recipe. Let me just check. Well, it looks absolutely wonderful. Now, to finish this off, it's going to be simmering for about an hour. I'm going to put 3 cans of pasta tomatoes into it. This will simmer and also thicken at the same time. The last is 1 bottle of mushrooms. Now I'm going to spread the tomatoes over the chicken so it'll simmer through there. And what's going to happen while this is simmering is that the moisture will tenderize the chicken, so it is absolutely going to be wonderful. With the chicken, I'm going to let this thicken up with the coals on the bottom, just like you would at home, none on the top. It's been about 35 minutes, so let's take a look and see if the cobbler's done. Wow, that is absolutely perfect. Would you like to see what it looks like down inside? There it is. It's all ready to eat. It's been about 45 minutes, so let's look and see if the cowboy potatoes are ready. Wow, they look great. Real tender. Let's finish this off by adding some vegetables to it. I'll put a little bit of peas in here. We'll mix that in. That adds some nice color and also some more vegetables. Also, we'll put the bacon back in to add some real nice flavor to this. And the last thing to finish them off is to sprinkle cheese over it. This will take just a few minutes to warm the peas and let the cheese melt. So probably another 5 to 10 minutes. These will be all ready to eat. It's been about an hour since I added the pasta sauce and the mushrooms to the chicken. Let's take a look. Wow, that has really thickened up just perfect. Well, I think we're all ready to eat. See how easy it is? Anybody can cook in a Dutch oven. The best part of Dutch oven cooking is sharing it with your family and friends. Looks delicious to me. What do you think?
Great!
Let's dig in.
Megan.
How was your day?
Watch your elbow.
Okay.
Not doing that. Yeah, can I shoot a video of that?